Hey guys, we are doing lesson 25 for phonics, and let's get started with some flip book review. I'm going to have you say both the spelling and the sound for each card. The sound for each card. So we're going to start here with this one. So what's the spelling? It's P, good. How does the P sound here? P. And our word is napping. Look at the power bar there. It's very small, isn't it? Very small. So this isn't a very common sound that you're going to hear. Our next word, what letter is that? B's. How does the B sound? B. Because remember, when you have double letters, it's just the B sound. This word says rubbing, rubbing. And look at the power bar here. It's small also. So that tells you it's not a very common spelling. Our next word, our next letter, what is that? It's a D. How does a D sound? Duh. The word is add, add. But look at the power bar. It's very small also, so that tells us it's not a common spelling. What letter is this? T. And how does the T sound? T. Sitting, sitting. And look at the power bar. It's very small. So you don't see this in the language like we should. It's not common. Our next letter, what letter is this? G. How does a G sound? G. Egg. And look at the power bar. It's a little bit bigger than the ones we've seen, but not much bigger. So this isn't a very common spelling either. And our last word, let's look at the letter. What letter is it? It's a C. How does the C sound? K. Hiccup. And look at the spelling bar. It's not very common, is it? No. Great job on that consonant flip book, guys. All right, so now we're going to review the sounds. We're going to look at sister sounds. So what do we call sounds that sound a lot alike? They're sister sounds. Both these consonant sounds are made by positioning the tongue close to the ridge right behind the teeth and pushing air out of your mouth. There is a difference, however. Either place your fingers over your ears or your palms on your cheeks or even your fingertips on your throat, okay? I'm going to put my fingertips on my throat. And we're going to alternate between saying the S sound and the Z sound. So the S and the Z sounds, stretching each one out. Now remember, the Z sound has that buzzier feeling than the S sound. So I'm going to say two words. One word will begin with the S sound, the S sound, and one will begin with the buzzy Z sound. So listen carefully and place your fingers on your throats or over your ears, okay? So the first pair of words is sip and zip. Ooh, could you feel the difference with the S and the Z? Yes. So the buzzy sound was on zip. Good. What about sap and zap? Which one had that buzzier feeling? Zap, because sap had the S feeling. What about sit and zit? Zit had the buzzier feeling, didn't it? Where sit had the S sound. What about sing and zing? Zing had the buzzier feeling, where sing has the S feeling. And now we're going to look at the last sound, okay? The last sound. So you're going to hear the S or the Z sound at the very end of the word. So let's listen. Bus or buzz. Did you feel it on buzz? The Z sound is on the buzz where bus had the S sound. What about hiss and his? It's on his, isn't it? That buzzier feeling. And his had the S. What about peace and peas? Ooh, peas had that buzzy feeling where peace had the S. What about lice and lies? Ooh, lies had that buzzy feeling. And lice had the S feeling. What about pace and pays? Pace had that buzzy feeling where pace had the S sound. Niece and knees. Knees had that buzzy feeling and niece had the S sound. Good job, guys. So now we're going to review spelling and we're going to listen for the sound Z, but it's going to be spelled with an S. All right, so I'm going to write a word on the board. Okay, oh, let me get that scooted in so you guys can see that word. All right, so what is that word? Good, it's cats. All right, what sound do you hear at the end of the word cats? Cats. You hear the S sound, right? Okay, and notice there is an S right there on the end of cats. That shows that we're talking about more than one cat. The S there makes it plural, meaning there's more than one. All right? What about this word? Okay, what word is that? It's dogs. Good. Now, what do you hear at the end of that word? Dogs. You hear a Z, don't you? Yeah, but you know what? That letter S is pronounced as a Z. That letter S is pronounced as a Z because sometimes at the end of a word, the letter S will be pronounced Z. And that also means it's plural because it's at the end of a word. That means there's more than one dog. Good. All right, so let me erase, and I'm gonna write another one. All right, what word is this? The word is plants, plants. What sound do you hear at the end of this word? Plants. You hear the S sound, good, so that's an S. Okay, I'm gonna write some more words up here. And I want you to tell me what you hear at the end of these words. So what word is that? Pots. So what do you hear at the end of pots? You hear an S, don't you? Good. What word is this? Cups. Good. Cups. What do you hear at the end of cups? You hear an S. Good. What is that word? Ponds. What do you hear at the end of ponds? You hear a Z sound, don't you? Good. Okay, what is this word? Pans. What do you hear at the end of pans? The Z sound also. That word, mats. What do you hear at the end of mats? An S. Good. What is that word? Mugs. What do you hear at the end of mugs? It's a Z sound. Good. And what is this word? Rugs. What do you hear at the end of rugs? The Z sound. Good job, guys. Now, the S for the Z is also used in other common words that are not plurals. For example, these words here, is, it's not plural just because there's an S at the end, is. That S sounds like a Z. And this word here sounds like a Z, but it's not a Z. Has. His. And one more. As. They all end with S, but they all sound like a Z. And is no longer a tricky word. In the reader, it will not be underlined in gray anymore. So when we have our readers that we're reading, it will not be highlighted in gray. Good job, guys. So here's a symbol we're going to look at. The symbol Z stands for Z. Z. All right. I'm going to write S over here, okay? And I'm going to put Z over here. S and Z. And that both spellings represent the same sound. So this is like our last lesson where we worked with the K sound. Remember the K had the C, K, and the CK that all made the K sound. Well, in this lesson, we're working with the Z sound, where the S makes the Z sound and the Z makes the Z sound. For example, dogs, okay, ends with an S, but then zip. All right. Good. So let's look at a couple other words that we could put up there. What about cups? Good. And zoo. Good. What about cat? And zipper. Good. Notice they all have the Z sound at the beginning, and dogs, cups, caps, they all have that S sound. All right. Okay. So let's go into our tricky words. Tricky words. Tricky words. And we have these words here. We have the word was. We have the word when. And we have the word why. All right. We're going to start with the word was. Was. Now, how could you blend that word was? z. Okay, so it's pronounced was. The word is actually pronounced like W-U-Z. I was happy. I'm going to write was up here for us to see. Was, good. And I'm going to circle the W here because why? Because it is pronounced as a W as we would expect. But I'm going to underline that A because it's the tricky part of the word. You'd probably expect this letter to be pronounced A, but it's pronounced And I'm going to circle the letter S. But in this word was, the letter S stands for the Z sound. So when you read was, make sure to remember to pronounce the A as a U and the letter S as a Z. And when writing was, you have to remember to spell the U with the sound of the letter A and the Z sound with the letter S for was. Good. So let's look at our word when. When. So if we were blending the word when, we would go wa, ha, eh, Good. When. Now this word is actually pronounced like W-E-N. When, as in when did you get here? So I'm going to write when up here on our board. We'll write when there. And I'm going to underline the letters W and H because this is the tricky part of the word. You would probably expect this to be pronounced wa-ha, but it's actually just pronounced wa. I'm going to circle the letter E, and it's pronounced I, as you would probably expect. I'm going to circle the letter N, because it's pronounced in, as you would probably expect. So when reading when, you have to remember to pronounce the letters W-H as just W. But when you write when, you have to remember to spell the W sound with the W-H. So when, W-H-E-N. Good job, guys. One more tricky word. This tricky word here, why, why. Now, this word is pronounced I, as in, why did you say that? And I'm going to write why on the board for us. Why. And I'm going to underline the letters W and H because this is the tricky part of the word. I'm going to underline the Y also because this is the other tricky part of the word. You would probably expect this letter to be pronounced Y, but it is pronounced I-E. So when reading Y, you have to remember to pronounce the letters W-H as a W and the letter Y as an I. So when you write Y, make sure to spell the W sound with the W-H and the I-E sound with the letter Y. Good job, guys. Now we're done with the tricky word part. Now we're going into a word sort, So we're going to review spellings for the sound of K, all right? And can you tell me the three sounds the K sound is in? Good. So I'm going to write this on my board. For the K sound, we have the K, good. Oh, we have the C, good. And we have the CK, great. Good job, guys. All right. Now here it says you can use your individual boards at home if you wish to do this. And I'm going to say the word and you're supposed to spell it out loud. And if you're correct, I'm going to ask you where you're supposed to put it on the board. But since you can't communicate with me, I will do this on my own, all right? And you just kind of go along with what I'm doing. So I'm going to read some words in random order, and we've got to decide where these words need to go on our chart. Now you can practice spelling those words at home on your whiteboard, and you can try to identify where they go, okay? For example, a student who wrote the word cup would say, I have the C spelling for the cuss sound. And then you would tell me how you would spell that word. So let's get started. I've got a list of words here that I am just going to pull out. All right. There, that way you can see my board a little bit better there. Okay, so the first word I have is luck. Where would luck go on my board? CK, because the CK is spelled K. Good, luck. What about the cats? Cats. Cats is spelled with the C, which has the K sound. So I would put cats under the C. Good. What about this word, truck? It's got the K sound spelled with the CK sound. So we're going to write it under CK, truck. Good. Ooh, what about this word? Snack. Oops, snack. It's got the K sound spelled with the CK sound. So it's going to be CK also. Snack. What about this word? Cup. It's got the K sound spelled with a C. So it's going to go under the C. Good. What about this word? Desk. It's got the K sound and it's spelled with the K. So we're going to put it under our K. Good. This word, ask. Where's it going to go? Under the K, because it's got the sound spelled with a K. Good. What is this word? Sorry, guys. What is that word? Pick. And it's got the K sound spelled with a CK. Pick. This word, kids, and it's got the K sound spelled with a K. So it's going to go under the K. This word, skip, and it's got the K sound spelled with a K, and it's going to go under the K. Skip. This word, lick. Lick has got the K sound, and it's spelled with a CK. Good. What about this word? What is this word? Can. It's got the K sound spelled with a C. Can. But this word, milk. It's got the K sound spelled with a K. This word, scab. Scab has the K sound spelled with a C. This word, duck. It's got the K sound spelled with the CK. Good. This word, act. Act. It's got the K sound spelled with a C. So it's going to go with our C words. About this word, crash. Crash. It's got the K sound spelled with a C. So it will go with our C words. Crash. All right. And what is this word? Kit. And it's got the K sound spelled with a K. Let's put kit over here. What is this word? Skin. Skin has the K sound spelled with a K. What about this word? Clap. It's got the K sound spelled with a C. All right, guys, that was a great job of sorting those words with the K sound. We have a C that sounds like K. We have the K that has the K sound. We also have the CK that has the K sound. Let's look at these words again. Let's repeat them. We have desk, ask, kids, skip, milk, kit, and skin. They all have a K that has the K sound. We have cats, cup, can, scab, act, crash, and clap. They all have the C that has the K sound in them. And our last list, luck, truck, snack, pick, lick, and duck. They all have the CK letters that has the K sound too. You guys have worked really hard on that word sort. Good job. We do not have an assignment with this, okay, because you all were working on your whiteboards along with me doing this sorting. So we will see you again tomorrow for lesson 26. Bye, guys.